what that activity did is it introduced you to these formulas. There are sum and difference formulas, and this is on page 620, no, not 620, 636. Now, had I showed you these formulas right away before we did this activity, they would have been extremely scary looking, okay? First of all, they're super long. That makes them scary. Second, they use two Greek letters instead of A and B. They use alpha and beta, which Greek letters make it scarier than not having Greek letters. That's just a given. But now that we've done this activity, you can sort of say, okay, I did that pattern thing. I saw the pattern. I'm sort of used to those formulas a little bit. It's not so bad. And these formulas are on our formula sheet. So again, we need to have them mostly memorized, but these ones in particular are hard to have completely memorized because they're so similar. So what you do have to have memorized is if you see an expression that has sine and cos 4 times, like the first one, sine cos plus cos sine. The second one, cos cos minus sine sine. If you have 4 of them, it should trigger, hey, that's one of my sum and difference formulas. I should look on my formula sheet to see which one it is. And once you have that, you're going to be able to do questions. And our first question that we're going to start off on is example number 2. Now, the activity we did just dealt with our sine and cos sum and difference formulas. There's also tan sum and difference formulas, and we're going to see that in part B. So in part A, we want to simplify. And with all of the formulas that we have during the year, whatever's on the left-hand side of the formula is considered the simplified version. So the sine alpha plus beta side is the simplified version. The expanded form, or the sine cos plus cos sine, that's your longer side. That's unsimplified. So when they want you to write something in simplest form, like they have in part A, we recognize, hey, this has got sine and cos 4 different times. Which one of the formulas match up? I can call this my alpha, this my beta, this my alpha, this my beta. And so I want to look on my formula sheet. When do I have sine alpha cos beta minus cos alpha sine beta? Which one does that match up with? It matches up with sine alpha minus beta. So then we can put in, well, our alpha was 8x, our beta was 3x, so it'll be sine 8x minus 3x. I can simplify those because they're like terms. And so in simplest form, this just becomes sine of 5x. Again, for part B, with the tan formulas, you don't have to memorize them completely so that you look at this and say, I know exactly which one that is. But you should have the skill to say, whew, I have a fraction with a crap load of tan. So based on that, I know I have a formula that matches. So now I'm going to look at this expression here, and I'm going to call this alpha and this beta and this alpha and this beta, and see if there's a tan alpha plus tan beta, 1 minus tan alpha tan beta. Yes, it's the second one. It's equal to tan of, and it's the alpha plus beta one, so my alpha is pi over 6 plus my beta is pi over 12. Now if I want to simplify those inside, I'd have to get a common denominator to add those. Pi over 6 is the same as 2 pi over 12. So 2 pi over 12 plus pi over 12 is 3 pi over 12. So now we have tan of 3 pi over 12. Is 3 pi over 12 on our unit circle? Yes, because it reduces to pi over 4. It's not on there as 3 pi over 12, but because this simplifies to pi over 4, and tan of pi over 4 is on our unit circle, this is equal to 1. Yes?
Write it just tan pi over 4, tan pi over 4x.
There's no x in there, so it would just be tan of pi over 4. So this is simplifying that one. Now for this example number 2, we won't do these questions right now, but we'll have some time at the end of class for practice number 4 and number 5.